Have you ever wondered why you just can't get them out of your mind? Why their memory lingers like a shadow, even when you know it's over? Let me tell you something bold, and it may sting at first. It's not love. At least, not the kind you think it is. It's something far more powerful, more haunting, and yes, more dangerous. Carl Jung, one of the greatest minds in psychology, gave a name to this force that grips your soul long after they've walked away. He called it the shadow. It's the part of you that holds every piece you've buried, your insecurities, your unhealed wounds, the pain you didn't want to face, the desires you've been taught to silence. What if this person, the one you're obsessed with, isn't really the one you miss? What if they're just a mirror, a reflection of all the broken pieces inside you begging to be seen? You think it's them, but the truth is, it's you. It's your inner child screaming for closure, your soul trying to finish a story that never had an ending. And in this video, we're not just going to talk about it, we're going to break it. We're going to unravel the psychological knot that's been stealing your peace and hand you back the power to finally let go. By the end of this journey, you won't just understand why they live rent-free in your head, you'll understand what they represented and how to release that grip for good. Take a breath. We're about to dive deep. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The Trap of Obsession. Have you ever caught yourself spiraling over and over, replaying old conversations, reliving moments, or imagining scenarios with someone you know is gone, out of reach, or never truly yours? Maybe it's an ex who walked away without closure. Maybe it's a friend who betrayed you in silence, or maybe it's someone who never even truly knew you, but for some reason, they live in your head, rent-free. And no matter how many distractions you throw at it, work, entertainment, even other people, your mind keeps, you tell yourself, I'll move on. But 2 days later, you're back at square one, haunted. It feels like you're trapped in a loop you can't escape. But here's the uncomfortable truth. It's not them you're obsessed with. It's not their smile, their voice, or the way they made you feel. You're obsessed with what they represent. They symbolize something unfinished inside you, a piece of you that feels rejected, a part that's been ignored, wounded, or left unheard for too long. You're not chasing the person. You're chasing healing without even realizing it. Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." This obsession, it's not fate. It's your unconscious mind trying to get your attention. Screaming through memories, through fantasies, through emotional pain. It's trying to say, look, there's a part of you that still hurts, and it needs your love more than their validation. So before we talk about how to let go, you have to understand you're not weak for feeling this, but you are trapped in an emotional loop, and the only way out is to face what's inside. Chapter 2. What is the shadow? Most people think the mind is just what you think, say, or feel in the moment. But Carl Jung, one of the most profound thinkers in modern psychology, believed something far deeper, that your mind is like an iceberg. What's above the surface is your conscious awareness, the part of you that's logical, rational, present. But beneath the surface lies a vast ocean, a world of repressed emotions, hidden trauma, old wounds, and forgotten memories. And at the center of that hidden world is something Jung called the shadow. The shadow isn't evil, it's not your enemy. It's simply every part of you that you've denied, suppressed, or were taught to be ashamed of. The insecurities you hide under confidence. The anger you pretend doesn't exist. The desires you've buried because they were too much. The pain you never gave yourself permission to feel. You didn't destroy those parts of yourself. You just locked them in a psychological basement and threw away the key. But guess what? The shadow never stays silent forever. Sometimes another person walks into your life, not to complete you, but to trigger you. They say something, they behave a certain way, and suddenly emotions explode that make no logical sense. You tell yourself it's love, but in reality it's a psychological mirror, reflecting the exact part of your shadow that's been begging to be seen. And that's why they feel so magnetic, even if they're not good for you. Because they activate a hidden story within you, a chapter you never finished writing. This isn't obsession, this is awakening. Your soul isn't confused, it's calling you to do the work. Chapter 3. They're not your soulmate, they're your mirror. Let's shatter a myth right now. Not every intense connection is a soulmate. Not every person who takes over your mind was meant to be. Sometimes the people you can't stop thinking about, the ones who awaken deep emotions inside you, they didn't come into your life to love you, they came to reveal you. They're not your soulmate, they're your mirror. Now what does that even mean? We're all walking around with hidden parts of ourselves. Dreams we've buried, emotions we've numbed, desires we've suppressed because someone once told us we were too much. And every now and then someone enters our life who awakens all those pieces at once. You feel drawn to them, not just because of who they are, but because of what they represent. They carry a piece of your soul that you've forgotten. Maybe they're confident, fearless, bold, and deep down you crave that freedom. You've spent years playing it safe, choosing comfort over risk, silence over self-expression. And now, here comes someone who lives unapologetically. And suddenly, you're obsessed, not with them, but with the version of yourself you wish you could be. Or maybe they rejected you, they didn't choose you, and the pain feels unbearable. But pause. Ask yourself, why does it hurt so much? Is it really about this one person? Or is it triggering an older pain? A voice from your childhood that whispered, "You're not enough." A moment in your past where you felt invisible, unwanted, unloved. And now, this rejection has reopened that wound like it never healed. We think we're mourning a person, but often, we're mourning the feeling of being abandoned by ourselves. Here's what most people don't realize. We don't become obsessed with others. We become obsessed with the story they bring up in us. Carl Jung said, "People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own soul." Obsession is just another form of avoidance, because healing hurts, facing your shadow hurts, but it's the only way out. So when someone enters your life and stirs up your emotions, don't immediately call it fate. Don't rush to label them your soulmate. Instead, pause, reflect. Ask yourself, what are they showing me about myself? Maybe you've lost your voice, maybe you forgot your worth. Maybe you've been settling in life, in love, in your identity. And this person? They're not here to complete you. They're here to awaken you. This is not just heartbreak, this is a spiritual intervention. Your soul is trying to hand you the key to your next level. But first, it's asking you to stop chasing people and start chasing wholeness. So no, they're not your forever. But they may have shown up to lead you back to yourself. And that right there is the beginning of true healing. Chapter 4. Awareness is power. There's a brutal truth about healing that most people run from. You can't heal what you refuse to see. Let that sink in. You can't change a wound you keep denying. You can't fix a pattern you pretend isn't there. And you can't move forward while you're still blind to what's pulling you backward. So here's your wake-up call. Not from me, but from your own subconscious mind. You keep thinking about them, dreaming about them, aching for them. But what you're really feeling isn't just about them, it's about what they activate within you. So ask yourself, no filters, no lies. What emotions come up when I think about them? Is it sadness, rejection, anger, longing? Be honest, because every emotion is a clue. Next question. Do they remind me of someone from my past? A parent who wasn't emotionally available? A friend who abandoned you when you needed them the most? A partner who made you feel invisible? If you've felt this pain before, it's not a coincidence, it's a pattern. A pattern your mind is trying to bring to the surface again and again, not to punish you, but to wake you up. This is not just another heartbreak. This is your unconscious mind screaming, "Please stop ignoring me. Please look at the wound. Please heal it this time." And the third question might be the most important. What patterns keep repeating in my relationships? Is it always chasing unavailable people? Always being the one who gives too much and receives too little? Always fearing abandonment even when things are good? These aren't random. Obsession isn't random. Nothing in your inner world is random. Carl Jung believed that what we do not make conscious will continue to happen to us, and we will call it fate. Your obsession, your pain, your repeated heartbreaks, they're not just bad luck, they're messages. Your mind has been holding on to something for years, maybe even since childhood, and now It wants freedom. This moment, right here, right now, is your invitation to finally stop looking at them and start looking within. Because that's where the real healing begins. Not in their apology, not in getting them back, not in closure from them, but in finally facing the truth inside you. The part that says, I deserve more, I deserve healing, I deserve peace. And awareness. That's the first step toward becoming free. Chapter 5. Face the emotions you've buried. Here's one of the hardest truths to accept on the healing journey. You can't escape your emotions. You can distract yourself. You can numb them. You can bury them so deep that even you forget they exist. But one day, they come back, stronger, louder, and harder to ignore. Most people spend their whole lives running from their feelings. They keep busy. They scroll endlessly. They jump into new relationships hoping someone else will fix what's broken inside. But feelings don't fade just because you pretend they're not there. They build, they fester, and they take control. Carl Jung once said, "What you resist persists." Read that again. Because this isn't just psychology, it's spiritual law. The more you resist sadness, the more it shows up in your loneliness. The more you resist anger, the more it leaks into your relationships. The more you resist grief, the more numb your heart becomes. So instead of running, what if you faced it? If you're sad, cry. Let the tears fall without shame. That's not weakness, it's release. If you're angry, feel it. Scream into a pillow, punch the air. Write an unsent letter with every raw, unfiltered word you've been holding in for years. Go for a run. Hit the gym. Channel that rage into something real. Because suppressed emotions don't just sit quietly inside you. They shape your choices, cloud your clarity, and poison your peace. You think you've moved on, but deep down, you're still being controlled by the pain you never faced. So here's a simple but powerful exercise. Find a quiet space. No distractions, no noise, just you. Close your eyes and bring their face into your mind. Let every emotion rise, the sadness, the anger, the love, the betrayal, all of it. And then ask yourself the question that breaks the cycle. What am I really afraid to feel? Is it the fear of being abandoned again? The fear that you'll never be enough? The fear that you'll never find someone who sees you fully and truly? That's your wound, and that's where your healing begins. The goal isn't to get over them. The goal is to come back home to yourself, fully, honestly, unapologetically. You have to feel it to free it. This is how you take your power back. Chapter 6. Integrate the shadow. Let's clear something up once and for all. Healing is not about forgetting. It's not about pretending the pain never existed. It's not about deleting someone from your memory like they never mattered. No. True healing goes deeper. True healing is about integration. And in the language of Carl Jung, that means something powerful: shadow integration. What is that? It's the process of reclaiming every part of yourself you once rejected. The parts you were told were too much, too emotional, too needy, too intense, too different. These weren't flaws. They were pieces of your soul that you locked away just to survive. But survival is not the same as living, and the only way to live fully is to bring those pieces back into the light. So ask yourself, if you admired this person's confidence, why? Was it because you've silenced your own voice for too long? Then don't chase their energy. Develop it in yourself. Step into your own light. Learn to speak your truth, even if it shakes your voice. If this person made you feel abandoned, stop waiting for their return to feel whole again. Give yourself the love you were seeking from them. Wrap your own arms around your pain. Become your own safe place. This person didn't enter your life to complete you. They came to reveal you. They were a mirror, reflecting the parts of your soul that are still waiting to be accepted. And here's the turning point. When you stop resisting your shadow, when you finally say, "Yes, this is me too," that's when your power returns. You don't need to chase validation anymore. You don't need to beg for love, attention, or closure, because you've found it within. This is the core of transformation. You are no longer the version of yourself that needed them to feel worthy. You are now someone who has met your own shadow, looked it in the eye, and chosen to love it. That's not weakness. That's strength most people will never understand. So don't hide your shadow, honor it. It's not a flaw, it's the map back to your true self. And once you integrate it, you stop just surviving your pain. You begin to alchemize it into purpose, power, and peace. Chapter 7. Break the illusion. Let's get real for a moment, because this part, it's going to sting. But it's also the key to setting yourself free. Sometimes, we're not in love with a person. We're in love with a fantasy. A story we told ourselves. A version of them we created in our mind layer by layer. Perfected by hopes, polished by memories, protected by denial. You fell in love with who they could be, not who they were. You saw the charm, the spark, the chemistry. But you looked past the silence when you needed them the most. You excused the moments they made you feel small. You romanticized the way they left, calling it fate instead of abandonment. Because here's the truth. Your mind didn't want to lose them. So it built an illusion instead. Carl Jung once said, "People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own soul." And that includes rewriting reality just to avoid facing the pain. But now it's time to wake up. It's time to break the illusion. Here's what I want you to do. Take a piece of paper. Write down their traits, all of them. Not just the good, not just the dreamy version. Be brutally honest. Write down what hurt. Write down what you ignored. Write down what you knew in your gut, but kept pretending wasn't real. And then remind yourself, they're not perfect. They're not your missing half. They're not the key to your happiness. They're human. Flawed, complicated, beautiful, and broken, just like you. You see, healing doesn't come from rewriting the past. It comes from seeing it clearly, without filters, without fantasies, without fear. You don't need to hate them to move on, but you do need to see them clearly. Because only when the illusion is shattered can the truth begin to set you free. This isn't the end of a love story. It's the beginning of self-liberation. Chapter 8. Reclaim your energy. Let's talk about something that's quietly draining you every single day. Your energy. Not just your physical energy, your mental, emotional, and even spiritual energy. And here's the truth. Every thought you give to them takes something from you. Every memory you replay. Every what-if you whisper at 2 a.m. Every fantasy about a future that was never real. It all costs you something. Carl Jung said it perfectly. Where your attention goes, your energy flows. So the question is, where is your attention right now? If it's stuck on someone who's not here anymore, if it's looping around someone who left, betrayed, or never saw your worth, then your energy is flowing in the wrong direction. And that's why you feel drained, empty, exhausted, uninspired. Not because you're broken, but because your power is bleeding out through memories that no longer serve you. So what do? We take it back. We reclaim your energy. Try this. It's simple, but powerful. Close your eyes, breathe deep, and visualize an energetic cord connecting you to them, from your chest to theirs. It represents all the emotions, all the attachment, all the history, both good and painful. Now, with your next breath, imagine yourself reaching for that cord. Hold it, feel its weight, and when you're ready, cut it. Visualize a clean, intentional break. See your energy flowing back into you. Warm, golden, powerful. Feel yourself becoming whole again. No longer reaching, no longer waiting, just returning to yourself. Do this daily, not to erase them, not to forget what was, but to remember who you are. Because the real goal isn't to move on from them. It's to move back into you, the version of you who's clear, peaceful, centered, unapologetically alive. And once you reclaim that energy, nothing outside of you can hold power over you again. Chapter 9, the final lesson. Still thinking about them? Still feeling the pull, the ache, the what-ifs? That's okay, because healing isn't linear. It's not a straight road from pain to peace. It's a spiral. Some days you'll feel strong. Other days you'll feel like you're back at the beginning. But here's the difference now. You're not spiraling blindly anymore. Now, you have awareness. You've walked through the mirror. You've faced the shadow. You've cracked the illusion wide open. So even if they still show up in your thoughts, you now know something most people never realize in their lifetime. It was never really about them. It never was. It was about what they awakened inside you. That obsession. It was your soul trying to speak, trying to show you a buried truth, an unmet need, a forgotten dream, a part of yourself you left behind years ago and finally recognized in someone else's presence. They were a trigger, yes, but also a teacher, a catalyst, a mirror. And now comes the most important shift. Stop asking, why can't I stop thinking about them? Start asking, what is this experience teaching me about me? Because that one question, that subtle but powerful reframing, will change everything. It turns heartbreak into self-discovery. It turns pain into power. It turns their absence into your awakening. You're not broken. You're not weak. You're becoming whole, becoming conscious, becoming the version of yourself that no longer needs to chase love, because now you're learning how to become love itself. This isn't just the end of a story. This is the beginning of a new one, written not by what they did, but by who you're finally ready to become. Let's be honest, we've been taught that moving on means forgetting, deleting their pictures, ignoring memories, pretending we don't feel what we feel, but that's not healing, that's avoidance. Because the truth is, you don't move on by forgetting. You move on by remembering who you are. The version of you that existed before they arrived, the version that's still alive, buried beneath the noise, and the version that's now ready to rise again. This is not the end. It's the beginning of something sacred, a journey back home to yourself. Every memory that once haunted you, every sleepless night, every silent breakdown, every unanswered question can now become the stepping stones to your transformation. Because you're not here to chase closure, you're here to create it. So here's your challenge. And it's not just symbolic, it's powerful. Tonight, write a letter, but not to them, not to the one who left, not to the one who hurt you. Write it to yourself, to the version of you who stayed loyal when no one else did, to the version who held back tears in public and cried alone, to the version who broke but still showed up the next day. Tell yourself the truth about your pain, the truth about your growth, and most importantly, the truth about your worth. Let that letter become your closure, not because they gave it to you, but because you finally gave it to yourself. You are not incomplete. You are not forgotten. You are not broken. You are healing. You are becoming. You are remembering. And that is the most powerful love story of all. If this video helped you pause, helped you breathe a little deeper, helped you see your pain not as weakness, but as a doorway to transformation, then don't keep that healing to yourself. Because somewhere out there, someone is silently breaking. Someone is stuck in the same loop you just broke free from. And this message, your share, might be the exact light they need in their darkness. So here's what to do. Like this video, not just for the algorithm, but as a way of saying, yes, I'm choosing to heal. Share it with someone who's going through what you went through, because healing is contagious when it's shared with love. And if you're ready to keep growing, learning, and remembering your worth, subscribe for more soul-healing content that doesn't just speak to your mind, but reaches your heart. Because healing isn't a destination. It's a journey back to yourself. And you don't have to walk it alone. We're walking it with you, King.